And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet your starters for the visiting Moncton Magic. Number 3, Corey Allman. Number 5, Denzel Taylor. Number 12, Anthony Anderson. Number 13, Terry Thomas. Number 21, Jeremy Williams. And the Magic are led by their head coach, Joe Somerno. And now, here's your starters for your St. John's Edge. At guard, from North Carolina State, number 3, Alex Johnson. At guard, from NC State, number 5, Desmond Lee. At small forward, from American University, number 24, Charles Hindle. At forward, from Grand Canyon University, number 55, Brandy Blaze. And at shooting guard, from the University of Hawaii, happy birthday to number 23, Carl English. And from North Carolina State, the Edge are led by their head coach, Jeff Dunlap.
And good evening, basketball fans in Newfoundland and Labrador, across Canada, and around the world via the internet. Tonight we're in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, at Mile 1 Center as the St. John's Edge gets set to host the Moncton Magic. George Scott here filling in for Steve Power this weekend, along with Doug Partridge. And Doug, the Edge almost perfect at home this season, 7-1, but it's been 11 days since they last played some basketball. Concern about a little ring rust starting this game tonight.
Well, I think they had a good road trip last time they were out, and I think getting the chance to work a little bit on some things that you need to tidy up, especially integrating some new players. We haven't seen Karan Williams yet. We haven't seen Russell Bird yet. So getting some time to work these guys into your system and learn your offense, I don't think necessarily some days off is bad.
Yeah, I mentioned how well the Edge have been doing. They're tied for first in the Central, 14-7 overall, but a number of player changes over the last month or so.
Yeah, anytime you deal with minor pro franchises, you're going to have a certain amount of roster churn as you kind of work, especially a first-year franchise, as you try and fill in, figure out who your stars are, and then try and get the right complementary people in there to make it work.
Both these teams averaging over 100 points a game, but both teams also give up an average over 100 points a game, so we could be in for a high-scoring affair this evening.
Yeah, the Edge play a very conservative defense to try and keep people in front of them, contest shots. The Magic play a very gambling defense. They lead the league in steals. They really want to get in transition. So a little bit different about how they do it.
All right, we're underway here at Mile 1. Magic in the dark jerseys. Anthony Anderson handling the ball up top. Puts it over to Thomas. Open up with the three-pointer.
Yeah, we're going to get into yeah, it's an illegal screen there on number 5, Denzel Taylor. That's going to wipe out the shot.
So the Edge with their first possession. Talk a little bit more about Anthony Anderson in a little bit, playing for Moncton. Here's Carl English, mentioned in the pregame some more. The birthday boy. The Edge open up, three-pointer. Charles Hinkle knocks one down from beyond the three-point mark.
Yeah, and I know that little pick and roll between Hinkle and English was something they worked on. They wanted to be able to exploit this week, and they thought Hinkle would get those open shots.
Every team now needs to make the three-pointer. That's today's basketball. Thomas from outside. A little strong rebound taken by Grandy Glaze. Puts it up ahead to Johnson. Dump it down to English. Working against Anderson. And English will draw the foul. He'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, the first time these teams played, Anderson's a smaller 2-guard. He's only about 5'10", 5'11". And they went to this exact strategy, posting him up. He has a hard time staying away from the fouls. He got early fouls in that game, 3 in the first quarter. Really didn't make an impact in the game. So again, we're kind of seeing what we're going to see from the weekend, I think, in terms of trying to post up some of Moncton's smaller guards, run that Hinkle English pick and roll. We're going to see a diet of this stuff, I think, as the week goes on.
English missed the first free throw, gets the second one. The Edge with an early 4-0 lead. Williams guarded by Hinkle. Throw it back down to Williams. And he will draw the foul on Hinkle. He'll go to the line. Mentioned Anthony Anderson. He leads the NBL in just about every all-time category. Leading all-time scorer, leads in assists, three-point field goals, free throws, and in games played. Guy's been around.
Yeah, he's an original NBA player. He was here for the first year of the league. He's seen how everything's developed and the changes and all the different franchises. He's seen it all. So he's a good, steady veteran. He still brings you 17 points a night, decent percentages. He can still play.
Johnson, that went off the knee of English. The ball will go over to the Magic.
Yeah, and you can see there that Moncton wants to try, and they brought the Iverson cut for English. They're going back into that pick and roll type thing, and they really Moncton wanted to try and break that up before it becomes something.
Almost a turnover for the Edge, but a kick ball went off the foot of Desmond Lee. Long three, rims out. Glaze with the rebound again, his second of the game. Glaze threw it away, tough pass. Moncton get out and run, but it's left short on the rim by Terry Thomas. Quickly back, Glaze lays it up and in. Williams quickly back down the floor, kicks it out, and stepping on the end line was Corey Allman. Allman, player of the week in the Atlantic Division last week.
I think that's the pace that Moncton wants, that frenzied up and down. So that's what they want this game to be.
Backdoor cut for English, mid-range jumper from the baseline. A good start for the Edge. They lead at 8-2 early here in the first quarter. Again, shooting cold starting this game by the Magic.
Yeah, the Magic will take some bad shots. They want pace, so they'll take some early, quick shots. And I think the Edge are fine with that. But the thing you have to be worried about is they can get hot, and those shots can start to go down.
English working off the high screen by Glaze. This is the three-point shot. Anderson down to Lee. They'll kick it back out to Williams. Anderson working inside, ran out of room, kicks it back out. And again, shot misses, but the putback by Jeremy Williams. Ball is knocked out. It will stay with the Edge.
And again, you see the aggressiveness of Moncton there. They're really trying, like I said, to be into passing lanes, tip passes, steal passes, anything to fuel that running game. So you really got to try and make some plays backdoor, make some things happen going toward the net, try and ease that pressure a little bit.
Tried to throw the alley-oop to Rempong, who just came into the game, replacing Glaze. Anderson knocked that shot down. So just a 2-point game now. Quickly up the floor. That's going to be tied up for a jump ball. Good defense by the Magic. Allman reaching in there and getting hold of it. We'll go with the out of bounds. Belongs to St. John's. Quickly inside. Hinkle, his first bucket. Thomas to Williams. Williams in a crowd lays it in, little baby hook.
Got a warning on Moncton there for touching the ball after a score, so it's a delay of game warning.
Johnson handling it for St. John's into English. Taylor on him quickly. Down to Brempong. He'll kick it out. Three-pointer is good. Knocking it down is Desmond Lee. Anderson. Corey Allman gets the switch. Hinkle. Williams from outside. And a three-pointer for Moncton. Closes it again to just a 2-point Edge for the Edge. Try not to use that again. Tried to dump it down to Brempong off his fingertips, and ball goes out. It'll belong to Moncton. It's under 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter. 2-point lead for St. John's, 13-11. Williams takes it right to the rack. Brempong got out, challenged the shot, but another putback by Moncton.
And again, offensive rebounding has been a problem for the Edge, giving up offensive rebounds so far throughout the year, and we're seeing it again here early in this game.
We'll get another substitution for St. John's.
This will be our first look at Karan Williams. He's more of a scoring point guard, more of a shooter, helps space the floor out a little bit more for Carl and Hinkle to operate.
Moncton make a substitution as well coming into the game, Anthony Cox. Going out is Taylor. Little step back by English, missed it but got his own rebound. English fires up the three, that's off the side of the rim. We're tied at 13. Good drive to the basket. That's Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, that was a great move. He sold the inside out. He pulled the ball over, looked like he was going to use the screen, and pulled it out and went right to the net with his right hand.
Hinkle, handoff up top for English. His three-pointer is good. Anderson across, get Corey Allman, deep three, doesn't go. Battle for the rebound. Foul will go against the edge. They'll stay right here.
Personal foul on the edge, number 5,
We get a timeout with the edge leading Moncton 16-15. Last time these two teams met, they've only played each other once this season. That was back in November, and the Edge came from behind. They were losing that game by 9 points in the fourth quarter, came back to win it 96-89. But a number of personnel changes since then. I think they've probably seen two different teams today than what they had in Moncton back in November.
Yeah, but I think the styles have stayed the same. I think, what the Edge were able to do in that game was slow it down, grind it out, make it more of a quarter court battle,
right.
And they feel like they have the better shooters and long range players than Moncton has. Again, the concern today is going to be similar. If you let it get into that up and down, fast paced, bang bang kind of game, Moncton probably has the best athletes. So it's a little different because what we've seen so far in all the games, the most athletic team has been the Edge. This is the first time, really, we're seeing the Edge play a more athletic team at home.
Right now they lead it by one, 16-15. I mentioned the officiating crew tonight, Scott Critch, Matt Boyle, crew chief Jason Steele.
Was a Pac-10 Conference champ 3 times in 92, 95, and 96. Finished his coaching career with a 650-65 winning percentage.
These two teams will play again tomorrow night, same time, 7 o'clock here at Mile 1. Another good crowd on hand here at Mile 1. The city has certainly embraced the Edge.
Well, it's been great entertainment and really good basketball, and that's, I think, there's always room for that.
Williams will take the throw in for Moncton. Out to Cox, to Anderson. Thought about going inside, kicks it back out. Corey Allman again drains another one. Allman's been hot early.
Yeah, he's a good shooter. He'll take some bad shots, but when you let him get set, get his feet there, he can knock it down.
Hinkle handling it midcourt. Try and take it all the way to the basket, but referee Scott Critch has called a foul.
And it's something you don't see a lot out of Hinkle. You don't really see him take guys on one-on-one. He's more of a spot-up, jump shooting kind of guy, so that's a little bit different there.
Ellenson into the game for St. John's. He's got it out to Hinkle. Hinkle with the long three. And Hinkle.
That's what you're used to and what you want to see from him, really.
Williams, his three from the corner, rims out, almost put back in by Cox, but came out, and St. John's come up with the rebound, get it down to Rempong. He'll work one-on-one down low, goes to the right hand, gets fouled, and one. He'll go to the line.
And you can just say that Anderson's problem is he can't keep his hand out of the cookie jar. Like he's small, he knows he's small, so he just can't resist sticking his hand in, trying to knock the ball away, and it winds up in fouls. So he's got two early, he's going to sit down.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 12.
Al Stewart will come in to replace Anderson. Brempong will try and make it the old-fashioned three-point play. Converts that. Edge back up by 4. Allman, quick three, quick release. A little bit strong. English manages to save it. Ahead to Ellenson, down to Brempong. Mid-range jumper, looking pretty good. Largest lead of the game for St. John's. They lead it by 6. Allman off the front of the rim. Another offensive rebound, though, by Moncton. Swing it around. Williams, 4-3. English. That's going to be an offensive foul. Even from up where we are, Doug, we could see that one.
Yeah, he took his offhand and just reached out and shoved, I think, Terry Thomas, and you can't get away with that one.
Personal foul on the edge, number 23, Carl English. His first.
That we are up in the rafters of mile 1.
Substitutions for the edge, number 15.
Now we're going to see Russell Bird, number 32, make his first home appearance for the edge. He's a stretch for a three-point shooting big guy.
Number of changes for Moncton. Jennings again with the 3. I believe I said Williams earlier. It's Jennings. That's his second. In that same spot. Ron Williams to Glaze, who's back into the game for St. John's. Tyler Hawes up top. Glaze dumps it down low. Bird. Bird will work one-on-one. He traveled.
Yeah. Shuffled his feet a little bit. He didn't think so, but he definitely did.
Thought about going one-on-one and then decided to kick it out, but threw in a little two-step in between. A little indecisive. Jennings over to Stewart. Caliste right back to Stewart. He'll drive it, and he's going to draw the foul against Tyler Haas. Terrell Baines coming into the game for Moncton, replacing Terry Thomas.
Thomas is their leading scorer, around 21 a game, but he's been very quiet here, even though they've put up a good point total in the first quarter.
They fought back to tie this up, and now another 3, and the Magic come from 6 down to 3 up.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a better job.
There's a turnover. Cox will take it to the rim and throw it down big time. Haas to the corner. Bird, no good. 11-0 run right now for Moncton. Plays with another rebound. St. John's need to settle it. Williams, quick 3 and drilled it.
Yeah, that's what he can do. He's an outstanding shooter. And he put a little bear hug on the Moncton player there. He got 2 arms around Caliste before the pass.
Personal foul on the edge, number 2, Ron Williams. His first.
That was a big 3 for the edge here. Moncton had all the momentum. I said they were on an 11-0 run, so it put a stop to that. Closed it back down to a 2-point lead now for the Magic. Caliste, Oz is on him, dumps it down low. Baines, back out. Cox, again the mid-range jumper down along the baseline. Williams directing traffic for the edge. Ellenson, he had it knocked away, but it's going to be a foul.
No. Yeah, it was all wrist, no ball.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 1, Brett
Yeah, Jennings saw the ball. He thought he could slap it loose and get a breakaway, but unfortunately he got all of Ellison's arm on that one and gets nailed with the foul.
In the corner. Shot didn't go. Back out to Williams. And again, back-to-back threes for Karan Williams. Good closeout by Ellenson. Up top, that three doesn't go. Ellenson with the rebound, and does a good job to get it off to Williams. Go right back to Ellenson again. Long range three. That one fails to drop.
Kind of thing with Ellison. He can get hot and hit some shots, but he can also take some bad shots. And the last two that he's taken haven't been really good looks.
Stewart from outside. Another rebound for Glaze. On my count, that's 4 rebounds for Andy Glaze here in this first quarter. Just 15 seconds to go in the quarter. 1-point game, Magic lead it. Edge will pull it out for the last shot. Partially blocked. 2.5, gonna throw it up. They don't get away in time. First quarter comes to an end. Magic lead it. 31-30. And we said we could be in for a high-scoring game, so both teams putting up 30 points in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think if you're an Edge fan, what you want to see is more activity defensively. I think they've kind of been a little bit stilted. They haven't gotten out to contest people. They haven't really rotated with passion or authority, and I think that's, that if you're an Edge fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see them come to life a little bit more defensively. Early in the game, I thought they were in good spots. When they went to their bench, Tyler Hawes in particular has just struggled to guard his man. On the Moncton side, they were in the hole early, and then they started to knock down the three-point shot, and now it's more a matter of they've got to tighten up a little bit defensively as well, but can they consistently knock down the shots that they're getting for an entire game?
I mentioned it briefly early in the game, talking about how the game has changed so much, Doug, from a number of years ago. It's all about really making those perimeter shots. It used to be, dump it down low and that would open up the outside. Now you use the outside to open up the inside.
Yeah,
the game is inside out now.
Yeah, I think the big thing that happened is this idea that we don't want to call too many fouls. We want the players to quote unquote decide the game. So if you're going to allow contact now, you're going to allow it in the post with the big guys. So it's become a lot harder to be an efficient scorer in the paint. And that reality means that you're better off getting three-point shots or getting penetration because the foul is easier to see in the openings outside.
Yeah, it's not nearly as crowded in the paint as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Teams like to open it up. The other thing with the three-point shots, of course, it allows for, if you miss, it's usually longer rebounds, and it gives a better chance for offensive rebounds because long rebounds are easier to pick off as an offensive player. It's tougher to box out.
Yeah.
So both teams putting up 30 points in that first quarter. Moncton 31, the Edge 30. As you mentioned, I would think both coaches would like to see the defense tighten a little bit. That's a lot of points both ways.
Yeah.
Terrell Baines with it. Jennings, Kelly, well short with that three again. The offensive rebound though, and then fouled.
Personal foul on the Edge, number 32, Russell Bird. His first.
Bird picks up his first foul of the game. Anthony Cox. Al Stewart. Felice posing quickly. Glaze. I'll dump it down low for Cox. Kicks it back out. Haas got a hand on it. Good looking shot by Terrell Baines.
It's got to be a steal. When a guy throws a flat pass like that cross court and you get a hand on it, that's got to be a steal.
Allenson, back rim. Rebound Baines. Jennings, good looking drive, gets it to drop.
Yeah, it's a struggle for Haas right now. Jennings is too big and too strong for him. He can't. He has, you know, if he gets up on him to take away the three, he can't keep him out of the paint. And if he doesn't get up on him, he's giving up 3-point shots.
Damned if you do.
Yeah. And he's not.
Oh,
you know,
there's
again,
a turnover. Again, Haas.
At the offensive end, he's unfortunately not making up for the struggles that he's having defensively.
Stewart with a little shimmy shake. And the three-pointer, again, good. Brent Jennings.
Yeah, and Moncton is well coached, and you can tell it because they're being merciless. They're going at Haas every possession.
8-point lead now for the Moncton Magic. The Bird, he'll turn. Left hand.
Yeah, that's a nice post-up move there.
That three doesn't go, but again, the offensive rebound. That's going to go. Would have been goaltending. They touched it up above the rim, but it dropped anyway. Another offensive rebound for the Magic. They are killing the edge down on that end.
Yeah, and that's, like we said, that's been a problem all year long for them. The offensive boards, they're a little bit undersized. They don't have a lot. They don't have those 6'9" guys really. That Bremprong has played well for them, but mostly Glaze gets by at 6'7". Then you've got some 6'5" guys playing power forward, and that's where they get in some trouble.
Almost a turnover again. Dangerous pass. Hinkle comes up with it, and Hinkle with the three-pointer. Yeah, just the way you draw it up.
Yeah, and that's where Moncton's gambling nature. They want to hit the home run, so they're going for the steal, and if they miss the steal, they're giving up a wide-open three. So that's, you know, that's the good and bad there. If he steals that ball and dunks it, you're fired up. If he misses the steal like he did, it's a wide-open three-point shot.
Offensive foul called against the Magic. The illegal screen. The ball turns over to the edge. Hinkle turns the corner all the way to the basket. Nice left-handed lay-in.
Yeah, and so far we're seeing a more aggressive Charles Hinkle taking the ball off the dribble a lot more than we're used to.
Jennings, step back, three, rims out. Partway down, came out. Glaze with another rebound. Glaze is holding up his end, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Grandy Glaze.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the past, the officiating crews we had didn't call a lot of offensive fouls. They allowed a lot of activity on the pick and roll and handoff type actions. But here tonight, they've been this crew has been a lot tighter, and they're legitimate calls. It's just different, I think, than what the players have been used to here.
I believe that's the third offensive foul we've seen
on screens. Yeah,
yeah, all on legal screen. That time, Glaze was looking like he was trying to do the pick and roll, but just pushed the guy out of the way as he went in. Yeah. Just a little bit too much. At least the referee's eyes. Layup missed by Jerry Thomas. Plays down into the corner. Plays with the three-point shot. Back rims it. Stewart, Williams, Thomas. Dump it inside. Good interior move by Terrell Baines.
Yeah, Desmond Lee has to give a little bit better effort to get in front there when he's posted up in a mismatch situation.
Lee, English back into the game for St. John's. And again, an offensive foul called against Grandy Glaze for the hard screen. He's going to have to come out of the game.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tough one, but English didn't bring his man quite close enough to the screen, and Glaze leaned just a touch.
Yep.
And then tonight, that's a foul.
Tried to make the screen a little bit wider by leaning the shoulder into his man.
Yeah.
Stewart working outside against Lee. Rebound taken by Lee. Took a little shot to the face, too. He's okay. He's going to stay in. Johnson is held. Terrell Baines picks up the foul.
Personal foul on the Magic, 0. Terrell Baines, his second. The Magic second foul on the second quarter.
English, quick step back, 3 off the back rim. Long rebound. Hinkle back to English. Nowhere to go with it. Hinkle will turn, steps inside. Can't get it to go. 5-point lead for the Magic. It's under 7.5 to go here in the first half. Kalish dribbled it out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a good job by the defense up the edge. They walled up the middle of the floor and kept forcing the ball outside. Kalista needed to adjust there and pull the ball back out to the top a little, and he didn't. He kept going the way he was being forced, and eventually he bounced the ball out of bounds.
English, his three-pointer, good look that time in rhythm. And we are back to a 2-point game, Magic lead. Johnson gambling. Shot soft touch. Williams gets it to drop. Johnson. Inside, Brempong throws it up, wild-looking shot. Looking for a foul, nothing being called there. Anderson back into the game for the Magic. Now they'll skip it over to Thomas. Thomas's three-pointer is good.
Yeah, that's nice. They get the switch on the pick and roll. They post up the mismatch, and then they wall off the weak side to screen in the offside shooter's man, throw it over the top for a wide open three.
Down low, Brempong lowers the shoulder, but again, can't get it to drop.
Yeah, he brings the ball down too low, and he gets caught with longer kind of shots, and those are the shots you usually miss. Needs to hold it up higher and have a shorter release.
Another three-pointer for the Magic, Jeremy Williams. Now they've stretched it out to a 10-point lead. And the Edge throw it away. They were trying to get it over to Carl English. A couple of substitutions coming in. And we've got a timeout as well as Moncton on a pretty good run right now.
Yeah, they've continued to score. They've scored 19 more points this quarter, but what they've done is they've started to shut down the Edge. They've done a very good job of defending the key and they're not allowing the dribble penetration that the Edge is used to having to kickstart their shooting game. Johnson can't get into the key. Williams couldn't get into the key. You know, without that sort of penetration by the guards into the paint, it's difficult. The three-point shooters aren't getting as many looks. They've got to rely on their screens more. And that's why I think their offense is starting to dry up a little bit.
Moncton started the game a little cold in the first few minutes, but they have heated up as of late. They're knocking down shots all over the place out there right now, and they're getting good open looks.
Yeah, like I said, when the Edge went to their bench struggled to defend, and once that happened and the Magic got a little flow and confidence, now they've carried that on now against the Edge starters who aren't defending poorly. They're doing a decent job, but they're now facing a confident team. And this is another part, though. Like I said, the last time they played the Edge, they were down for three quarters. They came back late. The thing about the Magic is these shots that are dropping now could stop at any time. They're not a consistent shooting team. Like, there are some teams that if you give them certain looks, they'll make them the entire game long.
Sure.
They're a consistent shooting team. That's not the Magic. The Magic are an inconsistent shooting team. They could make these looks for 3 quarters and suddenly be unable to make any of them. They could make these shots for a half and then never make another one.
Well, they're on a good run right now. They're going to ride this as long as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the Moncton team only 13 and 11 on the season, just a little bit better than 500. So if they were shooting like this all the time, you'd expect
It'd be a lot
much
better.
much better record. Cox, or that's sorry, Thomas draws the foul.
Yeah, and again, if you're a Magic fan tuning in and watching this game, one thing you're thinking is, we got a 10-point lead, we got 50 points with 5 minutes left in the first half, and Terry Thomas only scored a couple buckets. Like, he really hasn't heated up yet. So, I mean, that's a good sign if you're a Magic fan.
Last year's Canadian Player of the Year in the NBL. Cox made his first one. Back rims the second one. Edge down by 11 right now. English, little hesitation. Got caught in the air, managed to get it out to Johnson. English, now he's got a bit of room, steps back and gets it to go. That's good for 3. Rattled around, but
yeah,
on down.
Very, very good with that step back of giving you the shoulder one way, get you to lean, and then pop back the other for the 3-point shot.
Allman again wide open.
Yeah. There's a miscommunication there between English and Bird about who was going to go out and cover him. He winds up wide open off the screen.
Three-point shooting for the Magic has been sensational here in this second quarter. Ellison dribbled it off his foot, and that's going to be an open court foul against Carol English.
Yeah, I think Bird was trying to do maybe a little bit more than he can. He tried to be creative, put his shoulder down, lean into the defensive player and make something happen, and that's maybe a little bit outside of his skill set. Ball pops off his foot.
Yeah, I called it Ellison is 33, Bird is 32.
Yeah.
I'll get to know the players a little better as we go along.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, Steve Power not available this weekend. Steve is out of the country. So while we've got a timeout, I thank the Edge and thank Steve for inviting me to fill in this weekend. And Doug, you'll get me through this, I'm sure.
Trying. I'm trying.
Should mention, by the way, folks, during our first half, we are going to be joined by Jim Harry. Jim is a former head coach of the UCLA Bruins, former national NCAA Division I champion back in 1995. He's in town to do a coaching clinic the last few days, so he's going to join us in the first half, first intermission, and we'll have a chat about what he's been doing here and about his career and his thoughts on the NBL.
Yeah, that's a real treat. I've been at the coaching clinic the last 2 days, and it's been really good. Coaches are really enjoying it. The local coaches, lots of knowledge there. Anytime you can get a guy of Jim Herrick's stature to Newfoundland to talk to our coaches, it's certainly a big boost for the game here.
Allman to Anderson. Go right back to Allman. Guarded by Bird. Allman finally misses one. Back out to Anderson. And Anderson knocks it down. Johnson was out there, got a hand up. That's going to go offensive foul as Williams tried to take it to the basket.
Yeah, Williams is saying the player was in the no-charge circle, which it certainly looked like he was. But I've just found that in the FIBA rules, they disregard the no-charge circle. You can't, in the NBA, that's a blocking foul because the guy's got to put in it doesn't matter what it looks like. But in the FIBA rules, I find they just ignore it.
They play by mostly FIBA rules. It's a little bit of a hybrid, but for the most part, international amateur rules. That step back doesn't go. A rebound taken by Johnson. Johnson will try and push. Hinkle. Williams, open three, and that's good.
Yeah, he's very good when he gets an opening to shoot the ball. He's an excellent shooter. And
off the rim, rebound for Williams, and Williams is fouled, and they're going to call clear path or the unsportsmanlike.
It's an unsportsmanlike. There was no attempt to play the ball whatsoever. So again, in FIBA, there's that determination. There has to be an attempt to play the basketball. If not, it's going to be unsportsmanlike. And all Allman did was reach out and grab Williams by the shoulders. That's not a basketball play. So it's going to be unsportsmanlike in the FIBA rules.
There'll be 2 in the ball for St. John's on the unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, those are costly fouls. Those are not when you've got a lead and control in the game. Those kinds of mental mistakes can often allow a door for the other team to get right back in the game.
Williams makes 1 of the 2 from the free throw line. The ball will stay with St. John's. They still trail it by 10. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the first half. English trapped in the corner. He'll kick it back out to Bird. Cross. Hinkle. Yes, that one's good. And that's Johnson. Alex Johnson with the three-pointer. Anderson guarded by Bird up top. Down to Taylor. Allman. They'll get it out. Allman again, open three. No doubt, right at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah. They got the edge into a scramble defensively there and took advantage to get that open look.
English taking it to the basket. Blocking foul is called on number 3, Corey Allman. So English will go to the line for 2.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 3, Corey Allman, his 3rd. The Magic's 4th foul in the second quarter.
Two minutes to go in the half. See if St. John's can finish strong and close this gap a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is an important 2 minutes for the edge, and that how you finish a half, but really for both teams. I mean, the Magic wants to try and stretch this out a little. If they're up 12, 14 at half, they're in a great place. Meanwhile, if the edge creep back in, even if they get within 7 or 6 at half, they're feeling pretty good, having been down by 14 at one point.
Yeah, Magic have played strong. See how they finish. That shot misses, but again, another offensive rebound and a foul against English.
And again, the inability to clean the glass there.
Personal foul on the edge.
English will go out, replaced by Ellenson.
The edge's 7th foul in the second quarter.
That's going to be bonus for the Magic.
Into the penalty, they will shoot 2 free throws on every foul for the remaining 2 minutes of this half. We'll get a timeout on the floor again. Once again, remind you to stay with us at halftime. Jim Herrick, former UCLA Bruins head coach, will be joining us.
It's a little bit of a curious time for the Magic to take a timeout. You know, they're up by 8. They've just been fouled. They're going to the line for 2. You're going to be on defense. You know, but maybe you had a 14-point lead. It's creeped back to single digits. Maybe you just want to talk about tightening it up a little bit defensively, making sure you don't give up a soft bucket here.
Well, you talked about the importance of these last 2 minutes for both teams, so maybe for the Magic, it's talk about how they want to play these final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And again, as you say, especially on the defensive end, as they will be playing defense after these free throws. Get a shutdown here and come back and They finish the half strong. Giving the floor a good mop. Unseasonably warm here in St. John's today.
Yeah.
7 degrees. I drove in from Grand Falls, Windsor, and nothing but rain all the way, but not a whole lot of snow around anymore. We were wandering around downtown St. John's this afternoon. Beautiful out. It was like a spring day. February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Happy Groundhog Day, by the way, Doug.
Did he see his shadow? Do you know?
No shadows to be, well, I guess depends on which one. I think some of them, they did not see their shadow, so a little more winter ahead. But we haven't had a whole lot of winter here on the Rock so far this year.
Really just a couple of storms, really.
Baines makes good on the first one. 2:01 the time remaining here in the first half. Goes back to a double-digit lead, 10-point lead for the Magic. Williams, guarded by Kalista. Will go to Bird. Thought about dumping it down low. A break for the edge. The ball goes to Ellenson. He'll go to the line for 1.
Yeah, Williams missed the ball and wound up clubbing Ellenson in the head a little bit there just as he was laying it in. So again, it's that Magic gambling defense where it's kind of all or nothing. They tip that pass, they get their hands up. But when they don't come up with it, somebody's wide open somewhere.
So the 3 points by Ellison moves it back down to 7. Thomas cut off by Bird, steps back off the rim, rebound. Ellison. Johnson looking to push. He takes it to the rim, a little bit too hard. Ball goes out. It will belong to the Magic.
And that's one of the few times Johnson has been able to get all the way to the rim in this game. Is, you know, he's a little frustrated that it didn't go down. I think he thought he had a nice look there. This is a big lineup on the floor now for the Edge, probably as big as you'll see. They're playing some 2-3 zone.
Williams is trying to change things up a little bit, I guess, and disrupt that shooting of the Magic, what they've been doing. It's been very successful so far. Kalista, little push off, and it gets called. Referee Scott Critch with the call. Again, not a lot to it, but they have been consistent with that call throughout this game.
Yeah, if you get your hands into somebody, if you give them a shove, you're going to get the offensive foul here.
Both teams now in the penalty. Under a minute to go, though, in the half. Ellenson. Hinkle, that came up short. Offensive rebound. Rempong back to Hinkle. Little reverse. Gets it to go. Williams steps into the 3. That misses. And that's going to belong to the Edge.
Yeah, and that's not the shot you wanted there. Williams not a great shooter. His form is certainly not technically sound. And that was, I think he was hoping, I think he wasn't quite aware of the time. He was thinking it might have been a 2-for-1. I get a quick shot up, we get the last shot of the half. But that wasn't the case. Now the Edge should get the last shot of the half, and really if they can get into the locker room as is or even down 3 or 2, that's got to be, you know, very good for them.
Yeah, they've clawed it back. They've cut the lead in half, down by just 5 now. They've got the ball, and the shot clock will be off, 23.3. So they'll hold for the last shot. You should say if they get a 2 or 3 here, they've got to feel good about themselves after the way they trailed through most of this first half.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to be too hard on Tyler Hawes, but he's got to pick it up defensively going forward. He was out of sync there when he came off the bench, and a lot of the problems that kind of came around, unfortunately, flowed through him. I mean, we all have our bad days, and this is, hopefully in the second half he can kind of get his head right and get in some better spots defensively. Or they may go with a different rotation because everybody else has kind of done a decent job,
The pace from the first quarter has continued here in the second. Magic scored 31 in the first. They've added another 31 here in the second.
Yeah, and certainly the scoring pace, if you're a Moncton fan, is where you want it to be. You want that. If we're playing a game in the 110s, 115s, that's going to favor Moncton, I think.
Ron Williams. And they'll try and hold it. Down to 5 seconds. Bird off the back rim. Will be taken by the Magic. And the first half comes to an end with the Magic leading it 62-57. You said who was going to have the better last 2 minutes? Give the edge? I said I wouldn't do this too often, but I'll do it a second time. Give the edge to the edge in those last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's crucial because you didn't want to be in the locker room down 12 or 14 at half. So to be down 5, I think that's a win for you. You feel good. They go into the locker room with more energy than Moncton does. Moncton needs to figure out how they're going to beat the starters of the edge in the second half because that's going to be key.
All right, we've got 24 minutes done here. It's trail. Magic 62-57. Doug, I'll get you to step aside. No offense. We'll get Jim Herrick to come in and have a chat.
Sounds good.
See you for the second half.
Yep.
So we are at halftime here at Mile 1 Center in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Moncton Magic leading the St. John's Edge by a score of 62-57. Very pleased to be joined by former UCLA head coach of the Bruins, Jim Herrick. Mentioned earlier in the half, I was talking about you joining us. Number of years with the UCLA Bruins, 8-9 years. You coach those guys?
There 8 years, yes.
8 years. Turn up your mic a little bit there, Jim. And national championship in 1995.
Yes, we had a great run in '95 and won it all.
All right, let's talk about why you are in St. John's. You're here doing a coaches clinic. Talk a little bit about who you've been working with, what level of coaches, and what sort of things you've been doing with them over the last few days.
Well, first of all, Jeff Dunlap was my assistant when I was at the University of Georgia, but I've known him since he was in high school. He played at UCLA, and I've known him a long time, and we're really, really good friends. And I told him he took this job, I'd come see him. And
so there is a connection there.
Ended up doing it, yeah. And then I told him, I said, we can probably have a clinic if you can put something together. And it's worked out really well. We had a good group of people here for 3 days, and it's been really fun.
I was going to ask what brought you to St. John's, but obviously it's a connection with
well, it was Jeff Dunlap's brought me to St. John's.
Yeah. How long have you been in the province now?
I came in Monday night, and I wanted to watch them practice 3 days, and then I wanted to watch them play 2 games and put my 2 cents in and get on a plane and leave.
Should warn you that it may have felt cold to you, but this is really, really warm for this time of the year. We're here on the Rock.
It's been fun. We had a great snowstorm the first day, but then it's been nice ever since.
Have you had a chance to meet with many of the Edge players or taken any of their practices?
I have. I have a relationship with Alex Johnson and Desmond Lee and Tyler Hawes. I've known them for a long time, and so I talk to them. But I've talked to every guy, and we just talk in general about basketball and things you can do to get better, and so little things that I've noticed in practice, I'll point out to them, but nothing specific. You know, Jeff's the coach, and I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, the team is doing very well for an expansion team. Tied for first in their division, tied for first overall in the league.
That team tonight has shot the ball like crazy. I mean, I can't believe they're making every shot.
We were talking about it. The Magic just went on a great run. They knocked down everything.
Yeah, and but we got it back to 5, so I think we're in good shape now.
One of the things myself and Doug Partridge talked about during the first half was how the game has changed and evolved over the years. It used to be so much about the big man, get the ball inside to try and open up the outside. Now it's just the reverse. Everything is from the outside. The number of 3-pointers that go up now in the NBL game we saw tonight, what you see in an NBA game or a college game, it has really changed the game considerably. I guess from when you coached.
Golden State Warriors have changed the game, and everybody's shooting threes and going small, and it's a complete reversal from what I'm used to. But boy, kids can knock the shot down today. They can really shoot the basketball, and I hope we can come back this second half and get a win. I want to be around them if they get beat.
Well, how much connection have you had to the NBL? How familiar are you with NBL Canada? Or are you? Is this your first look?
Well, this is my first familiarity with it, but I helped start the NBA G League Development League.
Yep.
I was scouting for the Nuggets, and they asked me to help start the league, and I started the league, the NBA Development League. So, and I coached in it for a year and a half. So, I am familiar with that and the style of basketball they're playing.
Hate to ask this, but how would you rate the caliber of basketball in the NBL compared to, say, the G League?
I think it's very comparable to the NBA Development League. Might not be as many good players here, but it is comparable in a lot of ways. A lot of these young guys could play in the G League.
Oh yeah, I know. Earlier, last year's NBL champion London played against Toronto, who were the
Raptors?
The G League. Yeah, they're the 905. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and apparently they beat them. I didn't see the game. I read the report. So, and that led people to say, well, gee, they're not that far behind. It's been pretty good ball.
It's very comparable, and I think this is going to grow. I think that this league will go west and just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, if they get support like they're getting at Mile 1 tonight, they've been getting all season. They've been pushing 4,000 people through the turnstiles here for these weekend games. It has exceeded expectations, I think.
They didn't have a team in mid-October. Had no team, no coach, and now they're packing the place, which is really a tribute to the city and the community, and it's really, really nice. They've done a great job of marketing this outfit. The Edge done a great job.
Let's talk a little bit about your career coaching with UCLA. 8 years there. What did it take to go from taking over that organization to eventually developing a national champion?
Well, you know, I think it took a little bit of time. Right after Coach Wooden, they had a plethora of coaches, and I'm not sure anybody knew.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody knew anybody would stay. So it took a while to get players familiar that, hey, you're going to stay. And although I'd been a high school coach in Southern California, and I coached at Pepperdine for 9 years before that, so it was right in town, and I had a lot of connections and a lot of good things. And we were really close all the years. And we went to tournament every year, but boy, it's very hard to win it all. But so we had a great run there, but I've had a great run all through everywhere I've been, so it's been really fun.
As a college coach, it's not just coaching. Recruiting is such a big part of going from a good team to a great team, isn't it?
Well, recruiting is the lifeblood of any program, and you got to get out and find the kind of players that will make your team good, and you got to find good people. Jeff's gone out and got good young people. I'm very impressed with the caliber of character that he has on the team, and I think that's hugely important. And he's done a good job getting young people to come in here.
One of the things the Edge have done a great job that I've seen is getting out in the community. The players are going out into the high schools and the elementary schools, connecting with the kids and building a brand new fan base in what has, of course, always been a hockey town.
Well, there's no hockey in the town. Maybe that's the reason.
Well,
but
that helps.
People like to be entertained and have something to do, and this is a great entertainment. This is a good ball game, really, tonight. We were down and come back, and it's going to be a great second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, I'll let you relax and sit down and enjoy the second half. You're going to stay and watch the game tomorrow as well?
Yes, I'm going to stay tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, if they don't win tonight, you go see them tomorrow and straighten them out.
Yeah.
Okay? Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you
It's been a
for
pleasure.
having me. Thank you.
Jim Herrick. Absolutely a pleasure to speak with the gentleman this evening. As I mentioned, former head coach, UCLA Bruins. National NCAA Division I champion in 1995. Here to do a coaching clinic and hang around and watch some NBL action and having some very positive comments about the NBL. And Doug Partridge is back now. I tell you, Jim Herrick has said he's very impressed with the caliber of play here. From a guy who started the G League, one of the original organizers of it, he says this ball here is very, very close, and a lot of guys here could clearly play in the G League.
Yeah, I think the difference in the players, like from the G League to this league, usually it's more about focus and concentration. It's the ability to hold the plan in your mind continually for a whole game. And that usually, as you go to different gradients of the pro level, that's usually what you're dealing with. At the NBA level, you're dealing mostly either with super freaks, guys who are physically, you won't find them anywhere else. Or you're dealing with those guys who you can tell them one thing one time, and they'll do it every time they're asked after that.
But you go back to a point you made during that second quarter when the Magic were shooting the lights and they were making everything they looked at. And you said at that point, prophetically, this is a team that can go hot, they can go cold. And they went a little cold in those last few minutes. Those three-pointers weren't dropping the way they were earlier, and that's one of the reasons the Edge were able to get back into this one.
Yeah, the one thing about the Magic is they don't have those 40% three-point shooters. If you've got 40% three-point shooters, then you have guys that make that shot consistently. You cannot give them open looks. They don't have that guy. They have a bunch of 32 to 35% three-point shooters, which means, yeah, they get on rolls, they hit shots, but they also miss open looks. So, like I said, it's always tricky because you can run into that team at the wrong time and get buzzsawed. They hit everything they throw up for a whole game. But also, windows will open usually within the game where, if you do find yourself behind, if you just stay patient, stick with your game plan, you can claw your way back in.
And for the Edge, they got to start getting inside a little bit more. They, as you mentioned, very little penetration in that first half. It was all outside.
Yeah, the guys getting to the rim are Carl and Hinkle, which that's what you want. I mean, defensively, if you're defending those guys, you want them playing off the bounce, going to the rim, trying to score, not spotting up and shooting the ball. So, it's by the people getting to the rim are the people who are getting to the rim by design of the other team. Now, that said, it may be that these guys have to take on some playmaking responsibilities. They may need to say, okay, if we're the guys who can get there, we might have to get there, draw some attention, and kick it out because, they're keeping Johnson and they're keeping Williams off the rim. They're not letting them in there. So we may have to make some plays passing-wise as well as scoring-wise.
I saw very little penetration by the Edge guards in that first half, where they could get it into the paint, kick it out. The ball was moving around the perimeter an awful lot. And the other thing, you give up 62 points in a half. You're the coaching staff of the Edge. You've got to be working on some way to try and slow down that scoring tempo.
I think the fundamental plan for the Edge is solid, and that's we want to get them shooting contested jump shots. We want to keep the pace at don't let them get in transition a lot. Keep them in the quarter court and make them shoot in that 19 to 21 and a half foot range if we can. And I think, again, when their top 5 or 6 guys are out there, they're executing that plan. They had real trouble when they went to their bench mob, when they went to their a whole bench lineup kind of thing. The defense fell apart. They couldn't keep people in front of them. They couldn't get over the screens or communicate properly. There were some breakdowns, and like we said, they had 10 days to prepare, so you kind of hope that they maybe had integrated everybody in, but it's difficult when you pick new people up. It can often take quite a while for them to understand when we switch, when we don't switch, what we want out of our matchups, and every little thing can cause a breakdown.
Not sure exactly what the stat is, but I saw next to no fast break points in that first half. It was all half-court basketball. We saw the one breakout on the dunk for the Magic early, but that was, other than that, it was pretty much half-court basketball.
Yeah, and like we said, the Magic got hot from three there. There was a number of breakdowns for the edge, and they've got a lot of wide-open looks. And I think that's where the coaching staff would say, look, guys, when we're there and we got a hand up, they're not really making shots. It's when they get to just stand there, set their feet, and fire it up. That's when we're in trouble.
We're into the final minute of the first half intermission. Again, at one point the Magic led that first half by as many as 12 points, their largest lead. The Edge closed it off towards the end of the first half, trailing now just by 5. We'll see if the two teams can continue this scoring pace into this third quarter. Again, how you start the third quarter of these games is so important. First 5 minutes of the third quarter, maybe the most important few minutes of the game.
Yeah, I know, like, this is a boxing analogy, but what Sugar Ray Leonard used to say, you know, that bell rings to start the 3 minutes, you come out, pepper your guy hard, then get on your skates and run away for a couple minutes, and then with about a half minute left, pepper him again. And the judge thinks he dominated that round.
That's right.
You know, and it's kind of the same in basketball. You know, they throw, you come out, you throw the ball in play to start the quarter. You want to pepper your opponent. You want to give him a little boom, 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 put him back on his heels a little bit. Then just kind of try and play even for the middle part of the quarter.
Just kind of rope it for a little bit after that.
Yeah, and then boom, 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 pump him up again at the end of the quarter. And if you do that, you're going to win a lot of games.
Rumble, young man, rumble. That wasn't Sugar Ray, I know, but I couldn't resist. So we'll see who's going to rumble to start this third quarter. St. John's will get the ball first. Carol English to inbound it. All right, Johnson with the ball for St. John's. Hinkle. English forced out. English working on Thomas. A little crossover, throws it up, and can't get it to go, but draws the foul. He'll go to the charity stripe once again.
And again, like we said, these are the guys that are going to have the opportunity to penetrate, and they're going to have to probably do it more than you're used to seeing them do it, because you have to take, to a certain extent, you have to take what the defense gives you in the game of basketball.
Well, right away, we saw English take it to the rim. Didn't settle for the outside shot. They got out on him quickly and forced him well off the three-point line, so
yeah,
take it inside then.
Yeah. And the thing is, even though Thomas is a much better athlete than Carl at this stage in their careers, you know, Thomas is not expecting Carl to drive, so Carl can get to the rim on him.
Williams kicks it out to Allman. Quick release off the back rim. Long rebound right back to Allman.
And again, we see the zone here. Now they've switched back into the man-to-man after playing zone for the possession before.
Anderson with the ball up top for the Magic. Shot clock down to 9. Again, a little crossover, but wild shot. Air ball thrown up by Anderson.
Yeah, I think the Magic are a little confused about the zone, and at the pro level you can sprinkle a little zone in there because guys aren't used to seeing it. You'll get a little confusion for a few possessions. It's hard to stay in it for a long time though.
Johnson, Allman guarding him. Out to Hinkle, working against Williams. Oh, great move by Hinkle! Showed it outside, showed it inside, brought it back outside and laid it in. That gets the crowd a little excited here at mile 1. Thomas splits the D, kicks it out. Allman from the free throw line, little one-hander. Good start to this second half. Desmond Lee. Hinkle went in to set the screen, then steps out, drops it down low. Plays. They play a little give and go.
Yeah, that's nice basketball.
English to Grandy Glaze. Almond. That one's good.
Yeah, I don't know how long you can stay in the zone, just because, you know, you can already see Moncton getting more comfortable about where they need to move the ball and where they need to be to get shots.
Glaze down low. Johnson mishandled it. And they'll look inside. Lee turns, gets it to go. Difference here in the second half from the first half.
Yeah, the adjustment the Edge have made, and it's nice to see, is they're going to attack the paint. They're going to attack the paint with cuts and with different ball handlers than their point guard, and it's worked for them. Defensively, though, like I said, I'm not sure how long you can stay in the zone.
Taylor missed the two-handed dunk. Look at the referee, claiming there was contact. But both teams pushing it inside a little bit more here. Johnson finally getting inside.
Yeah, now he'll find us some seams because the other players are creating them.
Quickly up to Allman. He's got a sweet spot there. You got to put a little X on that floor. Yeah, that's his spot.
He's a very good shooter. When he gets his feet set and gets time, he's very good.
Glaze. See who touched it last. We're going to discuss it.
It didn't look like Hinkle touched that ball. It really didn't.
Hinkle was reaching for it, and they're going to say St. John's ball.
Yeah, I think Magic were just hoping to confuse the situation there. But the referees, you know, took it calm, conversed. Nobody saw an Edge player touch it, so it is an Edge ball.
English. Thomas is on him. A little shoulder shake. Again, draws the foul, gets the basket.
And again, it's the tough thing is you tell your players you got to get up and take away the three. You got to get them off the line, get them off the line. But you want to get them off the line and still guard. And right now, Thomas is struggling to keep the ball in front of him. He thinks he's doing his job by simply making Carl put it on the floor. He's not protecting the end game, though, which is to make him take a contested shot. He's let him get all the way to the rim.
Chance to cut it to a 1-point lead. 70-69 now. A very different looking Edge team and almost thrown away here in the second half. Anderson has it to Williams. Take it back out to Anderson, over to Williams. Reluctant to shoot it. Drive it in, knocked away. Good hands by Glaze. Hinkle, long three. Allman. He'll stop, pop, good. Allman, 3 in a row. Missed his first one here in the second half, but has now made 3 in a row. English will try and respond. Rims out, rebound to the Magic. Anderson quickly up the floor. Anderson sees a lane, cut off by Hinkle. Back out, Allman, can he make it 4? Yes, he can. Dialing up long distance. See him put the telephone signal up to his ear.
Yeah, he's hot. And again, I'm just not sure about the zone in terms of what it brings. I think it's given Allman a chance to heat up.
Oh, steal by Allman.
He's going to pull
Why
that
not?
up.
That's his spot right there. Can't make 5 in a row.
Yeah, he didn't quite get his feet set on that one.
When you're that hot, why not?
Oh, yeah. It was the right decision. He just needed to take it at one little half count to get his feet a little more set.
Taylor denying English the ball. Williams goes back to Williams. Nowhere to go, really. But he's standing still out there. He'll shoot as the shot clock was winding down. Allman, he'll try it from that side. And the Edge have had enough of that. They're going to call a timeout and say, this is becoming the Corey Allman show.
Yeah, and again, like sometimes you make good adjustments. So the good adjustment by the Edge was to attack the rim more, get the ball inside more, make some things happen. Sometimes you make unnecessary adjustments, and the unnecessary adjustment was going to the zone, which really allowed Allman to get his feet set, get a rhythm, and get hot. And your man-to-man was solid enough with your starters on the floor. If you had gone to your bench mob and said, guys, this bench can't chase those athletes around. Let's go zone when our bench goes in and see what happens. You live with that because your bench got tore up a little bit in the first half, so let's try something different. But the going to the zone with the starters who had defended well at the start of the game and at the end of the half, I'm not sure about that one.
Moncton shooting 16 of 32 from the three-point line, 50%. Just the number you mentioned. You mentioned 40, they're at 50.
Yeah. And
that's a ridiculous percentage for three-pointers.
But the quality of look that they've got here in the second half out of the zone is just, if you can't make those at this level, you shouldn't be getting paid, So they've got again, the Edge have to address that and get into something different and defend at a higher level, probably in a man-to-man situation.
Moncton have built the lead back up to double digits again, 79-69. Ron Williams. Allman guarding him. High screen set by Bird. They'll go to English over on the right side. English guarded by Thomas. Dumps it down low to Brempong. Brempong working against Baines. He'll go ahead and shoot it. Doesn't get it to go.
Yeah, the Edge are starting to lose their movement on 0-2. There's too much standing around. Too many people just standing there with the ball until they shoot it rather than shooting on the catch, which is much more efficient.
Bird dumps it down low to Hinkle. That was blocked. Thomas got a piece of that Hinkle shot. But again, St. John's trying to push it down low. Anderson getting in. He'll draw the foul and go to the line for two.
And there's a little bit of, for some old-time fans out there, there's a lot of Vinnie Johnson and Anderson, a lot of the microwave. Like, he's got that big barrel chest. He's not a tall guy, but he's thick across the shoulders. He's got that barrel chest that he can put in you and muscle you on those drives. So you think like you should be, as long as you can stay in front of him, you should be all right. But he can put that shoulder into you and just move you out of the way like he did to Carl there.
Nice reference, going back to the Bad Boys. Yeah, Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. I see what you're saying, though. He plays physical when he goes to the basket for a guy who's not very tall, one of the smaller players on the floor. An 11-point lead now for Moncton. Williams off glass, came up a little short. Anderson again. Corner, that misses. Ball comes out. Hinkle has it. A better defense by the Edge on that sequence. Hinkle will just turn. Misses it, but finally an offensive rebound of their own by the Edge. Ron Williams with the putback. I always said the worst place to shoot the ball from is when you're standing on the three-point line. It's just as difficult as a three-pointer, but you're not going to get the reward.
Yeah.
And that's what Hinkle did then. Nice interior move by Williams. Screen by Brempong up top. They'll throw it into the corner. Williams, again, short.
But at least that possession had a little more movement to it, which is good.
wide open three. Can't get it to go. Williams misses. Rebound Brempong to Karan Williams. Allman's on him. Brempong wide open. They'll let him shoot it. He makes them pay. Knocks down the little Jimmy. Henderson splitting the double team. Kicks it out to the corner. Allman again dialing it up. Great job by Anderson. Split the defense there and drew the defender and kicked it out.
Yeah, they tried to show two on the pick and roll, and you're going to get Bird here who throws his shoulder on the dribble move, and nice job. Allman's doing a very good job both ends of the floor. He's knocking down the three offensively. He's torturing them. Defensively, he's been able to guard some bigs. He's been able to guard some perimeter players. He's having a big game tonight.
Bird will come out. Randy Glaze will replace him. 12-point lead now for the Magic, and they've got the ball. Anderson's been very good here in this third quarter. Speaking of very good, Allman, yes sir. Just can't miss. He lets the crowd know it here at mile one.
Yeah, we got a new villain in St. John's.
Oh, he's here.
An Edge fan.
He's here making friends. Try and get it down low. That was a kickball.
Yeah.
Corey Allman, coming off a week in which he was named Player of the Week in the Atlantic Conference, and making a bid for 2 weeks in a row. What a game he's having.
Yeah, no, he's been outstanding here tonight. And again, he was able to get some space and get his confidence, and now he's preying on him with that confidence.
That'll go up and out. Ball will go over to the Magic. 15-point lead now as they begin to stretch it out on the St. John's edge. Allman wants it, gives it up to Anderson, back to
nice.
Allman.
Yeah, that's lovely.
No, doesn't go this time. Swatted out, but taken by Lee. A runner in the lane doesn't go. Brempong, he's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, but the breakdown, like the Edge in the first half and even the start this half, they had that real nice movement going offensively. But now it's the danger of when you go to those, we need to get to the rim type thoughts is things break down into one player trying to do it himself. And it's not even a particular player, it's a series of individuals trying to make plays. And you just don't have that flow to your offense anymore. It's hard to score.
Allman is coming out, and he was limping as he came off the floor. I think it's a cramp. He's down, looks like he's just trying to stretch it out down on the end line. But as he came off, his teammates were all up, waving the towels at him, cooling him off. He's so hot.
Yeah.
May just be a cramp in the hamstring by the way he came off. But he's out of the game momentarily. Replaced by Al Stewart. Stewart into the middle, throws it up, and Cox will lay it in. Good little pick and roll. Brempong down on the post.
Substitution for the Edge, number 23, Carl English. And for the Magic, number 13, Terry Thomas.
English coming back in, as does Terry Thomas. Those two have been kind of nose to nose through most of the second half.
Yeah, I think that's Moncton has made the choice that Thomas is going to be the guard that guards Carl.
5-second violation down on the end line. Don't see that too often either.
Yeah, no, again, it's symptomatic of the lack of movement. There just wasn't a lot of movement on that inbounds play.
2 minutes to go in the quarter. We talked about the importance of the first few minutes of the third quarter, and it was the Moncton Magic who came out. And particular, Corey Allman knocked down at one point 4 straight threes, a couple more since then.
Personal foul on the edge. Number 5, Desmond Lee, his third. The edge's third foul.
Lee picks up his 3rd foul of the game. Cox up to Baines. Back down to Cox, long 3 from the corner, off the rim. 2 edge players actually had the ball. They knocked it away from each other, and they get away with it as the Magic miss the putback. Not a whole lot going right now. And to add to the worries, Rembrandt misses the easy putback. He gets fouled, he'll go to the line, but things aren't looking too smooth right now for the edge.
Yeah, no, and you've, like, again, sometimes you get in these holes and you start tinkering with your lineup, and you're putting lineups out there with Glaze and Bremprong at the same time, which haven't played together a lot, and like I said, you just lose your flow and your movement and what you're trying to do.
16 is the lead. So again, for the edge, as it was at the end of the second quarter, try and get this down to single digits if you can in the last minute 37. Not by 15 right now. Brempong makes them both. Now you've got to do it down this end.
Yeah, you got to start getting some stops at some point in time.
Well, there's one as they throw it away. Try to get it down low to Anthony Cox. Well, there's one. Ron Williams. English running miles out there, but Thomas staying right with him. Now they'll kick it out. Lee, yes, gets one to go. See if that'll kickstart the edge. Down now by 11. Got a couple of stops in a row. Thomas working against English. Up top. Back rim. That's going to be a foul on Brempong as he held Terrell Baines.
Yeah, they got the shot they wanted. They couldn't get the box out in the rebound they needed.
It's been an issue all game for the edge.
The edge's 4th foul in the third quarter.
And they miss. Cox saves it, but then turned it over to Williams. Williams running out, getting back. Stewart strips it away.
Yeah, he's pulled his hamstring too. I think Williams has pulled his hamstring. And we got a 3-point play at the other half.
Countered and one.
Yeah, Williams was, he was rolling out the hamstring and the hip at halftime. So as he came out of the day, he was on the roller, really trying to get. So there's something going on either with his hamstring or his hip.
Great hustle by Al Stewart.
Yeah.
Catch Williams and strip the ball away. Baines to the line with the and one. Completes the 3-point play. And it's back to a 14-point lead. A 1 second difference between the time clock and the shot clock. Williams.
He's not healthy. He's not healthy. He shouldn't be out there.
Surprised he stayed out. He was limping noticeably as he came back up the floor. English, long 3 at the end of the shot clock. Air ball, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Here he comes from an end. English is claiming he was kicked as he tried to get that shot away. But a big quarter for the Moncton Magic. They led it by 5 at the half. They now lead it by 14.
Yeah, they just got loose early. Allman knocked down those threes, like you said. And once he got in the flow, there was no stopping him. And conversely, the edge lost their flow. They lost their movement. They couldn't get to people to the spots they normally get them in. and everything kind of broke down to one person trying to do it themselves.
I thought the Edge looked pretty good to start the quarter. They were pushing the ball inside. They were much more aggressive on offense, but couldn't get any stops the other way, and Ullman just killed them with all those threes.
Yeah.
So a big hole to try and crawl out of for the St. John's Edge. The Edge 14-7 on the season. Magic 13-11, but it's the Magic. Last time these two teams met, Moncton led it by 9 after 3 quarters. Magic were able to, or the Edge rather, were able to come back and win that game, but don't want to make that a habit.
No.
Try and have big fourth quarter comebacks all the time.
Yeah, it's tough to always be digging out of a hole, but I mean, it's kind of similar to the last time we were, the last homestand that the Edge had. They came out of Christmas. It's been a long break, 10, 12 games, whatever it was, without a play. And, you saw some rust, and they struggled, and they couldn't get things together, and they lost that first game. And then played, next 3 games better and better as the week kind of went on. So hopefully for the Edge, they're just shaking off the inactivity, and you'll see them really come to life here. If not in the fourth quarter today, tomorrow night.
Well, that was the first question I had right off the top of the show.
Yeah.
Was there going to be rust on the Edge as a result of not playing for 10 or 11 days? And didn't seem so early, but they really struggled in that third quarter. They did not come out with a lot of jump, a lot of juice.
No.
Let's see if the Edge can pull off another big-time comeback. They trail by 14 as we get set to start the fourth quarter. Magic with the ball first. Stewart looking to penetrate. He'll take it right to the basket, and that is not the start that St. John's were looking for.
No.
They just gave up the easy drive straight to the basket. English, step back, blocked. Baines will come away with it. Block and the steal. Thomas, jab step on English. Now takes it to on the edge of the three-point line. Had his foot on the three-point line. Didn't go. New shot clock. Cox, Stewart. Baines just out-muscled Carl English and takes it right to the front of the rim.
Yeah.
Thomas has done a great job on Carl English. English gets free this time. Tried the little scoop. That didn't work either.
No.
Really nothing working for the Edge right now. It's another three-pointer, and that'll go. Brent Jennings. It is getting out of hand right now. 21-point lead.
It was interesting. At halftime, you said there wasn't really any appreciable amount of fast break points. But in this second half, you just see the transition defense for the Edge has fallen apart. And it's not points at the bucket. It's not layups. It's wide open threes in transition.
Stewart takes it to the basket. A little misdirection as he waved at his teammate. Everybody looked over there, and he turned and took it right to the basket. And when they're not making threes, now they're getting the dribble penetration. Yeah. It's been a long day. I drive in from Grand Falls. That's my excuse. Dribble penetration.
Yeah.
Everything going right for Moncton, nothing going right for St. John's.
And that's, I knew there was a coach that used to say, look, 25% of your games in any given season, you're going to lose no matter what you do as a coach. 25% of your games, you're going to win no matter what you do as a coach. It's that middle 50 that'll determine your season. This is one of those games that it really didn't matter what the coaching staff did, said. They could get out there and sing and dance if they wanted to. This was going to be a tough game.
Over the course of a season, you are going to have some of these. There are going to be some stinkers from time to time.
Yeah.
No team goes through a full season without laying an egg now and then.
Yeah.
This is one for the Edge. Stolen away by Stewart and then lost it to Johnson. Johnson kicks it out. English. Would have been a long 2. Hinkle with the rebound. Back up top, Bird over to English. English will try it again. Can't get it. Johnson with a rebound. Hinkle, that was never going to get there, but a foul as Rempong is pushed to the floor. English slaps the hardwood in frustration.
But I gotta say, I am impressed with the Magic. Their preparation, their defensive game plan, their athleticism. This has been an impressive effort by them.
Long 3 again, doesn't go. Out of bounds and goes over to Moncton. Stewart directing traffic. Back up to Baines, who's had a strong game for the Magic. Tried to turn and taken away. And laying it in is Johnson. One of the few fast break points for the Edge. Haven't had many turnovers, haven't created many. Not a lot of real in-your-face defense. Cox mishandled it. Looked up. The ball goes off his hands and will go over to St. John's.
But again, it was an example of what's gone wrong for the Edge there, in that they ran a little pin screen to pop Thomas up, and both defenders went with him, leave the roller wide open going to the rim, and unfortunately for the Magic, they mishandled the ball.
Hinkle. Finally, they get one to go. Crowd reacts to that. Taylor. Rempong's on him. And that's going to be a walk as Taylor took an extra step. Had a look inside and then just kept going with it.
Yeah. And I think a good timeout by Coach Salerno of Moncton, just sensing he does, they had a 21, 22-point lead. I know it's still 17, but you don't want to let that. In the pro game, you can score 13 points in a minute and 20 seconds. So you want to kind of make sure, let's just pull it together a little bit, make sure we're taking care of the ball and getting things done the way we want to get them done.
Yeah, not just for this game, but for the season in general. You don't want to get in bad habits because you get a big lead, which can happen to teams. You get a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
And get out of your game plan, get out of what you're supposed to be doing when you've got a big lead.
Yeah, and in another life, I coached at the university level, and I did these back-to-backs for a living.
Right.
And you'd be shocked how many times you're playing real well, you're all over the other team, things look great. Then you allow a little 8-10 point run, the other team gets some positive emotion, you still win the game, but then the next day is a dogfight because the other team feels like, well, we're better than them, we just need to play more consistently, give more effort, whatever the word is, and all of a sudden you're in a battle with a team you shouldn't be in a battle with because you didn't drive the nail all the way into the wood, so to speak.
Absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, with the back-to-backs, they're playing again tomorrow night. This has been all Moncton. They don't want to give the Edge the feeling that, hey, we just had a little bad start. Once we get going, we're okay.
Yeah.
You want, as you say, you want to stick it to them, you step on the throat.
Yeah.
Professional basketball. You don't ease up.
Yeah.
Don't give them any thoughts that they can beat you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hinkle. Now that's good. He'll go to the line for 3. He got undercut pretty good.
Yeah,
Baines doesn't like the call.
It's unlucky for him. Like Jennings got up there and got a piece of the ball. I think the block was kind of clean, but unfortunately when he blocked Hinkle cleanly, it then kind of brought Hinkle into his body, and then he gets called for undercutting him. But You know, I mean, it's possible that if he hadn't actually blocked a shot, he wouldn't have been a foul, and I doubt that Hinkle would have made it.
Can't get the first one to go down. It's the second of 3. Hinkle makes 2 of the 3 free throws. Stewart, watched by Johnson. It's a little handoff from Jennings. Down to Taylor. Taylor surrounded. Hinkle blocked it. And they're going to say the ball will stay with Moncton.
Yeah, that's a good call.
11 seconds left on the shot clock. Stewart up top. And down the corner, quick release by Jennings. Again, another offensive rebound. Williams, a little bit too strong. He'll go get it himself. Hinkle took it away. Physical play down to our right. Hinkle showing a little pushback. Johnson, Taylor defending him. Back to Hinkle. Taylor will pick him up on the switch. Hinkle left hand, left it short. Good defense.
Yeah,
by
Taylor, as a kind of a 4-5 guy, he's got very good feet. He plays really good defense on the ball, so you can get away with a lot of odd switches with him because he can keep guards in front of him.
Williams wide open as he wiped out Johnson on the hard screen. Ball bounces around back into the hands of the Magic. And they run it up now. 17-point lead. Hinkle. Left hand, going to wave it off. Another offensive foul.
You know, and then that time the defender was clearly both feet in the no charge circle. So at some point in time, FIBA either has to say, you know what, erase the no charge circle off the floor because our officials aren't going to call it, you know, or they have to say, guys, if he's in the no charge circle, it can't be a charge. Like, they've got to make a decision there. It's the most frustrating part of the game is that you have a rule. It's clearly written.
Yep.
You cannot take a charge off the ball in the no charge in the restricted area, but yet they call the charge all the time.
And that'll be another offensive foul. I don't know, I've seen a game with so many offensive fouls called. That's 7, I believe, between the two teams.
Yeah,
and again, they've been very consistent with it.
Yeah, and you know, other than the 2 times where the guy was in the restricted area, they've been clear cut too. They haven't been difficult calls.
Vasily Kirkic into the game for St. John's. Native of Serbia, played with them on Seahawks. So he counts as a hometown player. played with Memorial University for a number of years.
And again, if you're a player like Vasily, you know, you've got an opportunity here to get, you know, you kind of think about the games at hand, whatever. But you've got 6 or 7 minutes here to maybe make a statement about what you might be able to bring to the floor.
Well, you want to bring your best game. Doesn't get a lot of playing time. Comes up with a loose ball, gets it up ahead. English, Johnson, and he'll put it in. Still a 15-point lead. Just under 6 to play.
Yeah.
Well, Allman's hamstring is much improved.
Yeah.
Went off, stretched it out, came back, and knocked down another one.
Get a little Gatorade, and he's good to go. You know, it's just soft on that dribble handoff. Like, the switch was very soft, and you left it. I mean, it's a tough shot off 1 foot, but still, he was given a lot of room.
English may have got away with a little push off that time, the way they've been
I
calling
thought
it.
that was a flop.
Yeah, it's just the way they've been. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The way they've called it, I think that's why, you know, the Moncton player felt like if I embellish this, I might get this whistle because it's been called.
Yeah, they seem to be happy to call those offensive fouls, so I'll give them a chance
to
call it again.
Yeah, it was a quality job by the officials to sort of say, no, that's a flop.
Personal foul, number 3, Alex Johnson, is second. The Edge's third foul of the fourth quarter. Substitution for the Edge, number 15, Tyler Hawks. And for the Magic.
I tell you, Doug, we've been tasked with picking a player of the game for the St. John's Edge, and that is a tough one here tonight. It's not been a loose game to have that. My first time being told I've got to pick player of the game, and it's got to be this one. Allman. Can I give it to Allman? No, I can't. It's got to go to the Edge.
I think Hinkle's been their best player. You know, it's been a tough night for the Edge overall. I don't think you can put a lot of the blame at Hinkle's feet. I think Hinkle's been, you know, he's done his job here tonight. He's defended hard. He's got some rebounds. He's scored. I think he's done what he could do.
I like Randy Glaze is playing the first half just on the boards. He was the only guy really rebounding for the Edge. Haven't seen him in the second.
The tough thing with Glaze is there's a lot of breakdowns when Glaze is out there. He can forget his place in the offense. He doesn't always box out. He doesn't, you know. So it's tough with Randy because you love his energy and you love the way he plays. But he needs to be a little bit more solid in terms of his fundamental play.
All right, so we'll go with Hinkle. Charles Hinkle is the player of the game for the Edge. 4 minutes exactly left to go in this game. 20-point lead for the Magic.
Substitution on the Edge, number 5, Desmond Lee.
We'll do it again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here at Mile 1.
That's going to be a real character test. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm fascinated to see tomorrow's game, to sort of see, you know, like I said, this is the first time the Edge have lost a game at home, but they've never taken a punch like this. So sort of how they respond to it tomorrow night, I think is very interesting to see.
That's a new team, an expansion. That's a travel. Yep. As you said, they didn't even have a team back in October. No players, no coach. They put it together in a hurry, and they're off to a great start. But you worry a night like this, you start to question yourself and say, maybe we're not that good. We got off to a good start, but we'll see what they come back with tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's, and that's the coach's job, is to go in there tonight and go, guys, we just got to put this one away, put it in a box, wrap it up, and throw it away. Like, you can't hurt your confidence or question what we're doing or get into that kind of a movement just because we didn't play well tonight.
Charles Hinkle with a three-pointer. Allman missed one as Ellenson got out there, got a hand up. Now Ellenson calling for it down low, gets inside, blocked by Taylor.
Yeah.
Great block by Taylor. Allman throws it inside. Now they're just tossing it around. A little keep away right now. Jennings. Back up to Anderson. Almost a little four corners going on out there now. They put a new shot clock. They get the rebound again. Anderson driving it in. Eventually he'll be fouled.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more of a frustration foul than anything else for Hinkle.
Well, they were just tossing it around. They finally got a shot up, came up with the rebound, new shot clock, started passing it around again. Let's just, I guess from Hinkle's point of view, let's just stop this, reset, and see if we can play a little defense here. Taylor outside. Back up to Marcus Clayton. First we've seen of him, and gets it inside. Taylor will throw it down and draw the foul.
Yeah, you gotta like Taylor. He's been impressive. Like I said, he's a big body. He can move the feet well. He defends extremely well at the other end. He can guard all 5 positions. Offensively, sets good screens, gets good spots. He's not a shooter or a guy who's going to make plays outside, but he also doesn't look to go out there and do anything he can't do either.
And he'll complete the three-point play. Lee. Curling in was Ellenson, but again, can't get it to drop. It's a good look, but couldn't finish.
Yeah, he had, when he got in there, he didn't take a shot. He just kind of two-handed the ball toward the rim. He's got to take a better shot.
Baines driving down the lane. He gets fouled and will go back to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a hard foul by Vasily there. I think, you know.
Just didn't want to give up the layup.
Well, I think also maybe send a little message like, guys, stop letting them come to the rim. You know, boys, step it up a little bit. Don't let them come to the rim so hard. Like, you know, and try and send a little message that it shouldn't be this easy, you know.
Everything has been easy for the Magic here in the second half.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is what, you've got, it's such a quick turnaround. You got one night to solve your main problem, and your main problem is how do we get bench minutes defensively? Because you've got guys like Hawes and Ellenson who can shoot the ball, and you've got some guys on your bench who can play, but defensively today here, they've been a nightmare. And your bench has got to be able to play both ends of the floor tomorrow.
Lee try and take it to the basket. And following up on it, Ellenson with a little boom shakalaka. A little bit of excitement for the fans that are left.
Yeah.
Floater and soft touch. Stewart gets it to go. Lee to the basket. He's fouled as Jennings reached in.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 1, Brett Jennings, his third. The Magic's fourth foul of the fourth quarter.
I say the fans that are left, to be honest, most fans have stayed. It's still a pretty good crowd here, despite how this game's been out of hand for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think they did. You know, I mean, the one thing about basketball I think that helps a little bit with keeping people to stick around all game long is you never know when a great play is going to take place. The score, you know, where I grew up in Halifax, if you went to the downtown and there was a game, the fans didn't cheer to score. The fans cheered to play. Like they would, you know, they didn't care who went in there and dunked on somebody or who made a great dribble move. Like they would lose their mind for either team. Like it was the show they were there to see, not the score. So, you know, like that's the one thing about basketball is that even when the score isn't favoring you, as a fan, you can still see something you might never see again.
It is a great game. I've been involved in it for a number of years as well, and I always loved this game. Didn't coach university, coached high school for a number of years, and still refereeing out in Grand Falls, Windsor. High school and men's league. Little show me. Take it away, put it up. And Lee makes one and get a chance to make it a three-point play.
Yeah, and Desmond Lee is showing he's a master of garbage time. He's out there, well, boys, if it's out of hand, let me work on a few things.
Yeah, even and show it, take it away, put it up. Under a minute to play. This will go down as a Moncton Magic victory here this evening at Mile 1. And a decisive one. That went off of Stewart's leg and went out. Lee again, three-pointer. Yeah, garbage time.
He's going to wind up with some nice numbers, though.
Hey, look at the stat sheets. Yeah, he had a pretty good game. Yeah, sometimes it's when you do it. All right, they'll just dribble this one out. So the Magic go to 14-11. St. John's Edge fall to 14-8. And they'll do it again
tomorrow night,
evening.
7 o'clock, and I think it's, you know, like I said, it's going to be fascinating to see, you know, the Edge have some questions to answer, and like we said, they haven't really taken a punch like this all year, and to have taken it here at home, and now you've got to really come out and show what you're made of tomorrow night, and I think that's going to make for a good game and fascinating theater.
You mentioned earlier, you used the boxing analogy. Well, the Raptors took one on the chin. They took the 8 count. They lost on the TKO, but they've got to get back up tomorrow and see what they can, how they can respond. Tough one tonight for the Edge. All right, that'll do it. We're going to wrap things up here from Mile 1. Thanks so much for watching. My name is George Scott. Doug Partridge. We'll see you again tomorrow night. So long, everyone.